Hello, that's the Psychology Beat, and I'm a first year Doctor of Psychology student with a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. This channel is devoted to the field from a student's perspective. And this time, we're going to start off with one and a half premises. Uh, the first is that romantic interactions are complicated, and the second is that that first premise is exasperated by experience. And that could be lack of experience, positive experience, negative experience. So, yeah, that's what we're working with. A little bit of context. Not going to drone on. Let's do this in 30 seconds. That the whole dating landscape on the YouTubes with the old school MRAs, with incels, and just how the dynamic is shifting as far as arguing with or against, and how we have an entire population that men and women and non-binary that uh, or gender fluid don't know how to talk to each other. That this is all getting, I guess, rather fraught with the YouTube advice peoples. And when you look at sort of, I guess, more mainstream advice coming from uh, dating gurus and psychology and stuff like that, it can be a little bit silly. So we're going to start with a very quick answer, and made some notes. My psychology-based dating advice, based on degree and what did the degree give me? It gave me a framework in social psychology and how to read studies. So, okay, so my advice would, and this would be true to just about anything, including job interviews and family interactions and everything else. It just so happens this works really well for all interpersonal interactions. To be genuinely engaged is number one. Number two, don't people please. And number three, if you don't know what to do with your body, remember to smile. And those three things will probably get you through just a myriad of things. It'll get you through first dates, it'll get you through third dates, it'll get you through meeting families, it'll get you through job interviews, it'll get you through research, um, like meeting groups of people that you wouldn't normally interact with. Uh, and what it comes down to is you pretty much can't fake it. That these are things people do that genuinely like each other. And there's really no point in teaching anyone anything. There's not much point in fake it till you make it. Um, Everything depends on your personal development and where you're at and your comfort. So there's absolutely there's no reason to prescribe to someone to act a certain way if they're not being genuine in their action. And that might just send you into a tizzy if you're an awkward person and you don't genuinely feel comfortable in your own skin. Well, that just goes on to tell you that your development is what's at stake and what you should be working on, rather than, I don't know, trying to get someone to like you or be less lonely or anything like that, because the the loneliness won't be a problem if you're comfortable in your own skin. And I'm sure you've heard advice like this before if you're someone that looks into this sort of thing. But the main part is to be genuinely engaged is that you're not so distracted with yourself that you quit paying attention, because whoever your conversation partner is, be it romantic or family or employer, they're going to know if you're not there. They will easily know. That's I can. You don't obviously need any people reading skills to see when someone's checked out. And so if you're, I don't know, paying attention to your phone or your shoes or their shoes, I really dislike anything resembling or like the whole pickup artist shit about paying attention to other people's body language. That's pretty much pointless, because they're either in or out, and I don't know at what point paying attention. That seems more like some sort of really weird way to not pay attention or give anyone any respect. And once they pick up on the fact that you're not paying attention and they check out, you can say, oh, their feet are pointed the wrong way, and then you double check out, and then I guess talk to someone else at the same time that probably observed you talking to another person. And I don't exactly understand the logic of body language reading, because yeah, I haven't done a lot of reading on it, but there's pretty much at no point is there a success. Is there something positive happening? It's all about um, it's like, what then? It seems like it's more based around mind reading, and like, oh well, if you mind read someone correctly, you can tell if it's okay to be more yourself or less yourself. I don't understand at what point there's something positive happening from a sort of hyper observant interaction other than taking yourself out of the moment. Thus, my point number one is being genuinely engaged in whoever you're talking to for whatever kind of human interaction you're going for. Uh, Number two is don't people please, and that's definitely fits, I guess, the subsection of people that do feel awkward about interacting in public. Um, that's more of a kind of like, it could have a star next to it, and it's just typically telling people that are want this advice in the first place. People that don't need this advice don't go looking for this advice. But yeah, as far as if you're an awkward kind of person and you find, trouble interacting with new people, um, part of being genuine is being genuine with your own thoughts and opinions. And people can definitely pick up on if you're not being real and not being cool. And, personal development plays into it. So if you have some pretty toxic ideas about, I don't know, I'm not even talking about politics, but just about whatever's going on, yeah, that'll be a turnoff, but that won't be, that's just, that's just you needing more development. So it has nothing to do with lying to anyone. Um, it doesn't have to do with people pleasing. It doesn't have to do with, not telling people about your politics or fandom or anything like that. Heck, it's probably better if you came out and said it, because at least that point you'll eventually find someone that's on the same page. Either that, or you'll get to a point where, I don't know, maybe your attitudes will adjust, and you'll be in a more very, a more secure place, and how you feel about the world in general, and maybe the world itself won't seem so threatening that everything's threatening, and I don't know. People pick up on that kind of latent anger and stuff like that. So Um, yeah, so don't people please. Just be yourself. And, uh, a little ring to go on that is don't blame other people if there's no chemistry, because that's wonderful. The best thing you can discover within 5 minutes to 1 hour of meeting someone is that um, they're a wonderful person, and that's as far as it goes. That there's really not much potential there. It's goes to saving everyone's time and effort. So number three was, if you don't know what to do with your body, remember to smile. That again keeps you with being genuinely engaged. So all three of these pretty much came back to the same point. Um, Smiling is what people do when they like each other. Uh, and that kind of feels like I'm teaching a robot how to talk with human beings correctly, but sometimes people forget to smile. Real people, if they're just a little bit distracted or self-absorbed or nervous, they forget to smile and they'll look tense. And that includes dating and job interviews and whatnot. Um, so people that have a natural affinity to each other, they will be genuinely engaged. It's mutual. It's pretty thoughtless. It just comes naturally. They won't people please. They'll have a open dialogue back and forth, and they will remember, or they won't even have to remember to smile because it'll just happen automatically, and that's fun. Um, you can't create chemistry. There's no such thing as creating chemistry. Chemistry happens because people are just attuned to whatever. And it's not about pheromones, it's not about jawlines, it's not about politics. It's about a really kind of, I don't know, prism, undefinable, uncreatable way. And the more you try and create it, the worse it's going to be. So, yeah, the best thing that you can hope for is the fact that you get the opportunity to define who and who not is going to be, I don't know, someone that's going to be an enriching part of your life. And that includes all the things I keep saying. That includes romance, that includes employment, that includes family. You do get to choose your family, you do get to choose your friends, you do get to choose your partners, romantically or otherwise, and you do get to choose, well, to say screw it, and maybe you're okay checking out for a minute, because there's a lot of opportunities for people to have some self growth moments until they're ready to get there. Um, let's see. I am looking at my notes, and oh, about current relationships. That's not to say that people start at a high point with that initial level of attraction. Um, Things can develop over time, but it's not really something anyone can force, because both individuals are developing, and it can get stronger or weaker or just be consistently wonderful. Um, but those, that's a function of the individuals themselves. That's not necessarily something that's predetermined by any sort of starting value. And if you're not in a happy relationship, your partner won't change in any meaningful way from the onset. If you're not sure about someone, you can give it time to get to know them, and that's great and everything like that. But if you need time to get to know someone, there's probably once you get to know them, should be where the relationship deepens rather than at the onset. So giving someone a chance and starting off strong is pretty much that kind of a gamble. I don't really know many people that give people a chance when they're undecided unless they're, I guess, some level of desperate. And desperate is not a psychological term. That's more just a yeah. Some people have a need for intimacy and some connection and stuff like that, but they're not going to find it with someone that they're not connected to. So uh, yeah, my advice is to only engage on a deeper level with people that you have an affinity to. Sometimes it happens quickly, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's but if you have like 5 question marks over someone, don't think that giving that new friendship or relationship space to breathe is a big no-no, because there's absolutely zero reason to jump into something that's unsure. Things absolutely should have space to develop. And some really strong relationships come from those kind of building friendships that happen over time. As long as people are honest with each other, and that includes, being honest about the nature of the friendship. But yeah, I really can't get behind anything that says that the forcefulness on one side should help support the timidity on the other side. There's just really nothing about that. So as far as current relationships go too, yeah, if you're with someone and you're still unsure about them after any given point in time, don't believe they'll change, because they probably won't. They will continue to develop over time, as everyone does. And one of the reasons why breaks work, as far as those on and off again relationships, not just the intermittent reward system, but they work because time exists. And the person that you meet again is not the same person that you left. If you stay in that relationship with them, the whole incremental time thing, it really doesn't shift while you're still in the relationship. So it's best to just cut your losses. And if you ever do reconnect with someone, then that's because they're not the same person. But you should by no means stay in a crummy relationship and expect that they'll change on any sort of time frame that's useful. I mean, yeah, bill me if I'm wrong, but yeah, as far as addiction, abuse, cheating, anything like that, if having to talk about whatever's going on doesn't work, and that's just pretty much a one-strike rule. Uh, so to wrap it up, again, development is more important than presentation. Presentation is pretty much meaningless when it comes to meeting someone new or even being in a relationship with someone. Development, personal development, is going to be what separates you from the you 6 months ago that had trouble talking to people or didn't know what they brought to the table. When people bring up confidence, they really are pretty much bullshitting, especially fake it till you make it, because there's no way to do any of that in any functional time frame that's useful. Um, Confidence comes from inner or personal development, and yeah, sometimes you have to put yourself out there, and getting used to rejection is important. Getting used to rejection doesn't build confidence, though. It builds resiliency, and that's more the thing that a lot of people with a lack of experience, are lacking in is resiliency. So just it's not about confidence. It's about resiliency. So what is confidence? Is that confidence in your resiliency? No, no, it's not. We're not going to play word soup like that. Development is resiliency. So that's the part where people are like fake it till you make it and keep interacting with people and you know these fucking MRAs are like, well, if you try 20 times, you'll get it right twice, which is true to a point where you're giving yourself enough opportunities to meet that general chemistry I was talking about earlier. So, but as far as, yeah, there's no such thing as gamesmanship. There's absolutely nothing you can do other than being genuinely engaged in the moment and presenting yourself as someone who gives a shit about the conversation and the people that they're interacting with. Otherwise, there's just no point to begin with. So that is actually me being hopeful because there's absolutely no reason to engage with anyone unless you give a shit about engaging with people. It's not about the person. It's not about you. It has to do with a genuine desire to connect. And that's something that a lot of healthy people are more focused on than it is about getting their needs met or trying to fill someone else's needs. Have a great night and good luck out there.